Today we're going to answer the question, you're a senior, you're not 18 anymore, you got a lot of mileage on your knees and you tore your knee meniscus. I have a torn meniscus. What do I do? This is probably the best resource you can have. It's called I Tore My Knee Meniscus, Now What? There's not that many knee meniscus books. This one you can get at Amazon. It'll answer just about every question and give you things you can do at home. Easy exercises that actually are going to be just as good as surgery. So let me explain. The book starts out talking about what exactly is a meniscus. In case you don't know, what it does, how important it is. And if you know that, then then the exercise are going to mean a whole lot more to you, if you kind of know how your knee works. So basically, lots of pictures in this book. The book is evidence-based. It's based on studies. It quotes a lot of studies, so it doesn't really ask you to do anything that hasn't been shown in research to actually be effective. So if you're a real visual learner, you're going to like this book. It's not dry reading. It's not in medical terms. It's for the layperson. If you have no medical background, this is going to make you understand your knee, how it works, and the exercises, and your options. A tear is not a tear is not a tear. Basically, the point of this is, if you tore your knee meniscus, probably the first thing a lot of people do, if they know somebody who's tore their knee meniscus, like, oh, I know Joe, boy, he had to have surgery, and he had all this trouble, or, oh, he tore his knee meniscus and he didn't need surgery. It's important not to compare yourself to anybody who's tore their knee meniscus, because not all tears are the same, obviously. Where the tear is, how bad the tear is, depends on whether they can do surgery or not, even if that's an option for you. So a tear, don't compare yourself. That's really the thing here. What to do, the options. So this uses a question answer format. So should we just take the whole thing out? So it answers that question, basically, because some people think, hey, it's torn, just take the thing out. This will actually look at all the long-term follow-up studies and quote the studies. Here's one where they took out the knee meniscus and they followed somebody for like 40 years to see how did they do over the long run if you take the whole thing out. What if you just take part of it out? That's the current thinking. Turns out with either one, and it's worse when you take the whole thing out, you get early arthritis. And the book explains in the first chapter why that is. The meniscus actually helps dissipate the force more evenly across the two bones, your tibia and your femur. And when you start taking pieces of it away, your force, when you take a step, gets concentrated more in specific areas instead of evenly throughout the whole part of your tibia bone, and so force gets more concentrated. You wear spots down early. You get early arthritis. What about just trying to repair it? Goes over that. What if I leave it alone and do nothing? Well, the only way you can really scientifically answer that question, and this book will answer that question, is you look at studies where they take a group of people with torn knee meniscus and you follow them, for over time, like 5-10 years, and you take people that haven't had any treatment for it for one reason or another, and what happens to it over time? Does it repair itself? Does it get worse? Exercise versus surgery, which one is better? Okay, the only way you're going to answer that question scientifically is looking at the randomized controlled trials. That's where you might take 100 people with a torn knee meniscus, and 50 you randomly assign to surgery, and the other 50 you randomly assign to a good exercise program. And then you follow them over time, like 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, and there's a really good long-term follow-up studies. And you see, okay, at the end of 5 years, who did better? Those people that had surgery, those people that had exercise. So this will answer that. This book is actually collected, I went through the research, looked at all the randomized controlled trials, and the results are actually pretty consistent. Whether you have surgery for a torn knee meniscus or whether you do a good exercise program, you basically end up at the same place anyway. So you might as well do the exercise program. If you have a few, let's say you've tore your knee meniscus, you have an acute tear, because a lot of people get a torn knee meniscus just by doing something simple as bending down, picking something up. And that's usually like a degenerative tear, where the meniscus was a little bit degenerated anyway, which happens to a lot of us as we get older. So it can tear real easily if you nip it just right. And some people can hardly walk, so what do? This book will cover that, show you like how to use a cane or an assistive device, how to get upstairs, out of a chair, icing your knee, how to get rid of the inflammation in your knee, what's the best way for that. And that ends with an exercise program. Basically, there's 3 different levels, so beginning, intermediate, and advanced. So wherever you're at, if you can barely move your knee, start the beginning one. If you just want to avoid a knee problem and you want to get your knee in better shape and avoid a meniscus tear, get your knee in better shape and go to the advanced program. These are exercises too that you can just do in your own home, and it doesn't require any special equipment. Maybe like a leg weight, adjustable leg weight you can get at Walmart. So these are really easy exercises, and they work because they take these exercises right out of the literature, the randomized controlled trials that show that exercise works. So there you go. So yes, to answer the question, there is a lot you can do. This book will tell you exactly what to do and answer a lot of your questions. I think it's a great resource, so check it out.